like I'm meant to strive. Flat earth beneath my feet, knowing I'm here to meet. Ocean's edge, it calls my name. Purpose in this life's game. Horizons line so clear, God's love brings me near. Flat earth made by him, my journey long yet thin. Purpose found in every day, guided by his gentle sway. Mountains tall, they stand in place.
Oh, folks, what's up? Good to see you all. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you could make it. We are joined by Jeff and PJ. Woo.
Yo. What's up?
Suck my flaps. So Jake says that other names of Teddy Warrior stream I had, that flap was a derogatory term. Well, it might have
Not anymore.
Not anymore, yeah.
No, we own it now, and it's an awesome name, and it now means you're cool.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
We take the name and we make it cool.
Absolutely.
We embrace it.
No.
I actually think a flirt sounds cool.
In fact,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But everybody's spelling flaps with that undercase F. Come on, capital F, dudes. Capital F.
All right, I will capitalize it from now on.
But it's good to see you all. Good to see everybody in the YouTube lands as well. Please hit the likes, share the show. Really appreciate you. We're going to be doing part 2 tonight because we didn't get so far last night. But what we saw so far last night, what are your guys' thoughts?
He is lost.
Yes, I was trying
Lost.
to think of
He's a
what's
lost soul. Sorry, but he is.
For sure,
that,
for
yeah.
sure.
with that.
But I find it very disturbing that he wants to change the word meanings just because it doesn't suit what he believes.
That's right.
Yep.
To me, that's very telling.
Oh,
But like I said, if he does change anything, I will be contacting him. So yes, be sure to know I will be contacting him about this.
true, right. Moomin. He capitalizes both F's. Start and beginning.
Moomin is butthurt because McTudon had him on the Flurf wiki.
Oh, for goodness.
I'm
No.
not on the Flurf wiki either, so
Yeah. We can't all drink
and I'm the
fish.
biggest one of them all.
Yeah, we can't all drink fish. Madness.
But yeah, it's good to see everybody. Thank you for coming. You guys rock. Make sure you hit the likes, share the show, guys. And I'm gonna start here because I don't want to watch all the derogatory. Why is the thing growing so much? What's going on?
I thought you just did that intentionally. I thought you just
No, I didn't.
because it just went from small to big. I thought you did it intentionally.
No, I didn't. Okay, stay there now. Okay. Anyway, because you don't just want to hear Will Duffy and his derogatory insults and stuff the whole time. So I just kind of skip through to here to where I see they're going to start talking again and having his presentation. I can, however, tell you that if you guys missed part 1, go watch it because he got practically everything wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
That's really sad.
but half the time he couldn't even speak because the microphone wasn't working or something was going wrong. But the other half of the time there was no sense came out.
Mm-hmm. It was a godly thing. It was divine,
Yes,
keeping him from speaking.
I absolutely
I agree.
divine intervention.
But let's see what they have to say. And I want to see if Will Duffy is going to accept what he says or if he's going to correct him. But we already know that.
because it says a discussion, so that means he's just trying to reaffirm his beliefs with some guy that thinks he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
all it
mean,
is.
anyway, we all know Duffy doesn't anyway know what's going on. So,
No.
okay, but let's see what they say.
Fire away.
Can you see me? Hear me?
Yep, you look great.
Fire away.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Yep.
You look great.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to come back to that later. These two words out, these two phrases, alpane and alpane, which is translated on and over. Another translation can be above. And it goes on to say, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. This passage, these first 5 verses, by the way, though they are short in the scriptures and sometimes a little too easy to read quickly, in the Zohar, which is the Kabbalistic Jewish mystical text, these 5 verses take up a whole chapter and go into.
Why are you reading the Zohar, David Weshkov? Why are you reading? That would explain why he does seem very Kabbalistic to us.
I can actually see Will Duffy. Sorry, completely off topic. Will Duffy's struggling with the new settings in StreamYard. Yeah, just seeing that because I had the same thing today.
But yeah, I do think Dr. David Weiskopf might have some Kabbalistic beliefs of his own, especially because reading the Zohar, like he says. So that would explain a lot, guys, just to let you know.
To a lot of detail about the barrier between the spiritual universe, the physical universe, and God moving from one realm into another. And I want to point that out as a mystical Jewish understanding of these verses here. I'm going to move on.
Mystical. Mysticism is not a good thing, man.
No.
The Old Testament specifically speaks against mysticism.
Yeah. Why would God be a mystical person? You know, why would he not want you to know about what he wants for you? You know what I mean? There's no mystery in God. You know what I mean? Might not know
He reveals himself.
Him, yeah.
Well, mystics were considered sorcerers.
Yeah.
Way back. So
that alone already makes him a heretic based on Jewish scripture.
Yeah.
He will be seen as an outcast in the Jewish community.
And Will Duffy is an alleged Christian. Christians should have picked up on that.
I think he's not even listening. I think it looks more like he's just trying to concentrate on getting to show
what he wants. Yeah, there's an agenda there.
His goal is to try and destroy flat Earth, which he can't because it's something God created. So he's just he's trying to fight God, is what he's trying to do.
He's fighting a big uphill battle that he will not win.
He'll never win.
Yep.
He's trying to run uphill on a treadmill sliding down a landslide.
That one. That's a good analogy.
I mean, come on, Jacob tried it all night, and that was only a little tiny pillar of God, and couldn't get anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look what happened to Jonah when he tried to flee from Nineveh.
That as well. Of course.
At the end of the day, it's not going to help by trying to go against what God wants.
No.
Just say yes and do what's said. As simple as
and
that.
What does God want? He wants truth.
Amen. Yeah, well, God is truth, so.
Yes. And God is love, and yeah.
And that's why I find it very sad that a pastor teaches deception.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to be in a position of someone that challenges the divine, as in our God divine, our God's divinity. Sack that. Sack that.
What is going on with these things? It's just setting itself. What's going on?
It's fine, yeah. I can't see anything happening here.
Okay, let's carry on.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's popping up and down.
So verses 6 through 8, this is where we get this introduction to this word rakia.
Yay.
And I highlighted each time in red. Let's look at what it first says over here. I'm going to deliberately go into the English.
Why are you just putting expanse? Why not putting solid expanse?
Because this is his interpretation of it. He's not putting what it says. He's putting what he thinks it should say, or wants it to say.
But that would be considered lying, would it not?
Well, that's by hermeneutics, isn't it? That's not exegesis, it's eisegesis. In a big
And
way.
it's called deception. So he's
Deception.
deceiving people because he doesn't want them to see the truth or what it actually says.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a good thing, Mr. David.
Where it says, "And God said, let there be an expanse in the midst of the water, and let it separate between water and water." So,
No, it doesn't say that either. Doesn't say let it be separation between water and water. It said let there be a separation between the waters above and the waters below. Hence why there is a solid expanse in the midst of them. In other words, sandwiched in between them to separate them.
Right.
So he's not having a very good start at all.
before I got cut off before by the technical problems,
Oh, can
I
you stop
sort
for a
of
second?
warned you that the concept.
Can you open up the blue letter interlinear?
I do think so.
Because I think there's something off here, what he's got written in his thing, because it looks like he made that himself.
Yeah, it seems like that, Jade. It seems like Kabbalistic beliefs. Oh, what do you mean? What is that? I don't know what it said.
Let's see. Okay.
Meaning beliefs from the Cabal.
See this, sir? Sorry, give me 2 seconds quickly.
Ah, kid problems.
Had to tell the kids to shh. Okay. So, Barashit bala Elohim et hasayamim fet haras reset bara Elohim et maim et eras. So, in other words, in the beginning, that's Bereshit, created bara, God, Elohim, which is plural, by the way, guys, for all those people that don't believe in the Trinity. Et Sahamim. It is just like a filler word, like and or stuff. That's what it is there for. Asim or Samahim is heaven, and Fet and the earth, Eretz. And then obviously the word. But we want to go to, where is he? He's in 6, correct?
Yes, 6.
Okay. So we want to go to 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And said, God said, let there be a firmament, rakia. There we go. Let's go. Quickly go to it. Noun, common, masculine, singular, noun. Let's look at its strongs. Hey, Anush, good to see you, man.
Hello, everyone.
Yo.
Good to see you. Okay, so let's look what rakia is, guys. Remember what he says rakia is, just expanse. Just make sure it's rakia.
Strong's H 7549. Rakia.
There we go. Extended surface solid.
Expand.
See this keyword, yeah.
Solid.
See that word?
It's deep.
All he's putting is just expanse.
Yeah.
He's ignoring the whole usage. This expanse is a solid expanse. See why it's in.
It's solid.
There's a reason why it. Yeah, there's a reason why it is in caps, because encapsulated, because it being solid. It's to tell you it's solid.
Solid expanse or solid firmament. It's solid. This expanse is solid, or if you wanted to put it as firmament, it's a solid firmament. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And look what it says. The expanse is flat as base support. Flat as base support. So not a sphere sky. The
People
firmament.
Why I'm against them? Because they are liars and they are from the synagogue of Satan. That's why I'm against them. It's very simple. You have to point the evil and flash light on it.
What's funny is he's sitting there, he's saying he speaks Hebrew and all of this stuff, and yet he's not using the word firmament, because considered by Hebrews as solid and supporting waters above. Hebrews.
I know, that's the funny
See the key word there? Hebrews.
That's the funny part. He says nobody does. He's so frustrated that flat earthers and atheists are claiming that the Hebrews, the Jews, thought that the earth was flat. Literally, that's what's written. Yeah, that's what rakia means. I mean, look what it says on the firmament: a vault of heaven supporting waters above, considered by Hebrews as solid and supporting waters above. This alone debunks everything he's just presented. That presents everything he's just presented on screen. So yeah, it's quite sad. Because now the thing is,
he claims he knows Hebrew, but it doesn't matter.
he knows Hebrew. He does know Hebrew.
I can lie in English, I can lie in Polish, I can lie in Italian, I can lie in French. So it doesn't matter what language you're speaking. You can always lie in this language.
Yep. But I mean, that's the thing. He knows he's Hebrew, and that's why he knows he can get away with it. Because his audience, 9 out of 10 times, don't even know what's being presented yet. They're just going to accept him because he's playing the authority game. I am a doctor, and I know Hebrew. I'm fluent in Hebrew, so you will just accept what I say. And because they trust Will Duffy, even though he's literally told them it's fine to deceive, which is odd, because I would never trust anybody that says it's okay to be deceptive and lie. You would think in the back of your mind, is it logical to trust this guy?
Concept of water in this primordial soup may not be the H2O water that you can pour into a cup and drink. It's in a state of matter that we don't really relate to.
Where's he getting that?
That's my 2 cents
Making
worth.
up garbage.
Where's that coming from? Where's the evidence of this?
It literally says water.
Yeah, I mean, nothing in the Bible does it say about primordial soup, or that it might not be just like H2O water, it's some kind of mad water in a different form. What? Where does it say this?
Okay, let's go to Hamayim, which is waters. There we go, of the waters, common noun, H4325.
Strong's H 4325. My.
Mayim. Okay. So there we go. Waters, water of the feet, urine, of danger, violence, transitory things, refreshment. Mayim, dual and primitive noun, but used in a singular sense. Water, particularly juice, by ephesium, urine, semen, plus water, wasting water. Flood, spring. I think it's very clear that it's water, correct?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
So nothing about some mad form of a primordial type soup.
So
He's basically using that so he can ascribe to the universe being created with the Big Bang and evolution as all this other garbage.
Of course.
So,
Of course.
Yep.
Setting it up as his basis. You know what I mean? Mixing it in with what it says, with what it doesn't say, with what it's in his mind. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it still surprises me, because we already know this is all he's going to do the whole time.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
But we have to
shock us
do
at all.
this. Yeah, but we have to do this so people can get the correct information out there.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
And here we have this expanse. We don't know what it is. The word rakia in the red. We Jews, for centuries before there even was an English language, have understood it this way that Chabad is translated for us, as this expanse that separates whatever these kinds of waters are from these other kinds of waters.
What?
I want to ask something. How old is this guy?
In his 50s, maybe?
So not 5,000 years, 6,000 years old?
No.
Then how the hell does he know?
What they thought it was.
Maybe dementia knocked his head, already, and he's mixing words.
You see the difference between him and us. We are able to tell you what they believe because scripture says so. The manuscript's very clear what it says. The roots, the etymology, literally explains to you what it means. Him, on the other hand, is just saying, no one believed it. Just trust me, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We
we
don't know
always
what
knew this. We
means.
always knew that.
Question to
We don't know what
everyone.
water means. We don't know what the word rakia means.
Question to everyone. Why would you believe in the most hardcore Zionist organization, which is Chabad, and what they're saying? Just ask yourself why you would believe them.
Chabad, yeah. This guy's literally pushing Kabbalism, guys.
Yeah.
And Kabbalism is
let's
Luciferianism
continue.
and Satanism.
Mm-hmm.
God made the expanse, and it separated between the water that was below the expanse and the water that was above the expanse, and it was so. Now, here in verse 8, we still don't know what this rakia is, or as we're translating it as expanse, but verse 8 is our first clue from the text of what the.
And no, he didn't call the expanse heavens. He called it
What?
firmament.
Yeah.
Heavens is Shamayim. That's after the birds flew in the heavens, the Shamayim, which is. So he's lying there as well. Wow, it sounds like a lot of noise.
What's that?
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of background noise.
Lot of static.
Yeah, what is
Yeah.
it? Where's it coming from?
Jeff, I think it's from you. Yep, it's from Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Weird.
still static. Sorry, Jeff, I had to mute you, man. Quite hectic. Okay, I don't see where in the translation it shows, and God called the expanse heavens.
No.
He called the firmament
Heavens.
heaven. So he called the rakia Shamayim.
So there was heavens, but one of the heavens was a firmament heaven. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. You guys don't believe me? Look. And God called the firmament, rakia, Shamayim, heaven.
All right.
This guy is a bit very sly in the way he's trying to word the things.
Of course. And I mean, come on, it's obvious what he's doing as well. He's putting the word in red so everybody can see it. It's the same as it is in the Hebrew side, but red so it's seen.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm trying to get you to believe.
Quite sad.
The expanse is. It says, God called the expanse heavens, and it was evening and morning, second day. So now the text clarifies that this expanse, the rakia, is heavens.
Nope. God called the firmament heaven. Elohim called rakia Shamayim. Not heavens, heaven. He called the firmament heaven.
verse 9 and 10, this is a little bit of a bonus. So I'm not going to charge any extra for it, but it says, God, let the water beneath the heavens gather into one place, and let the dry land appear. And this is that word for dry land. It also can mean
Correct.
continent. And God called the dry land earth.
It can also mean continent. How does it say it can mean continent?
Wait, let's go see.
I think he's incontinent with his verbal diarrhea.
Wow.
It can also mean continent. I wonder if he actually checked that or if it's just him saying it.
He's just saying it because land is just simply eret.
Land.
It's not showing anything here under the literally though, the interlinear. But yeah, it's dry land. It's eret. Eret is land.
I mean, and a continent can be multiple lands together, you know, not just one land. So I can't see why land, dry land, just one in the singular could mean continent.
Mm-hmm. But let's quickly go look for it quickly. Eret, so he can see. While I'm doing that, guys, can you please hit the likes and share the show so everybody knows we are live? You guys rock. You are awesome.
Only 27 likes.
Wow. By the way, why didn't he explain why light was there before the sun?
Yeah, they don't like getting into that, probably not, because probably twists them up in a bit in the logic. Looking for.
That's
Oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
there we go. Eretz. Probably meaning to be firm.
Right.
So land, earth, the whole earth as opposed to a part, earth as opposed to heaven, earth, inhabitants, country, territory, district, region, tribal territory, piece of ground, land of Canaan, Israel, heavens, land, Sheol, land without return, underworld, city, blah, 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 blah. I read no continent. It says lands and countries, but it says nothing.
Wow, everything else but. Unbelievable.
Quite interesting. Is Jeff back yet? No, I think he's having issues. He's at work. So yeah, guys, hit the likes, share the show.
Yeah, I think
You
you
guys
guys go.
And the gathering of the waters.
PJ Kruger.
So God calls this dry land earth. Modern day scientists call it Pangea.
Oh, for goodness sake. So all the continents got
Pangea,
together
Mother
and
Earth. That's
then
what
they
God did.
drifted apart.
That's what.
Can they prove
No.
Pangea?
Mm.
And by the way, they need Pangea to work for billions of years. So Duffy, being a young Earth creationist, as far as I know, should be against
If you look
this.
if you look at Africa and South America, yes, it looks like they should fit together, but you'd have to shrink one of them, or is it make one of them a lot bigger for it to fit properly? But the rest of it doesn't go together. I mean, it
But
looks like they might go together, South Africa and South America. Sorry, Africa and South America, but no, they don't.
Yeah, but remember, it only looks that way
course.
on a map. Is it
Exactly.
And it only fits on the so-called globus map, on the globe.
Exactly.
It doesn't fit on the flat Earth.
No, of course not.
Map, but yeah.
Madness.
Okay.
And by the way, this little bunny trail that I'm going on here is just an extra bonus. I'm not going to charge you any extra for it. But if you look at this continent here,
Why do they keep on talking about charging?
How come it's all about money?
Stuff you paying for it?
Wow. it's good to see who he serves.
Hey, Ryan's in the house.
You
What's
can
up,
see
Ryan?
who
Dude,
he's
I'm sorry. I was just over in Discord and got in a conversation with somebody and got really cool. And then I realized it was time to come over here, and I was like, damn it. Sorry, guys.
What's good to see you, man?
As this big circle here that includes this body of water over here with this island in the middle, and you have this big landmass here. Right in the middle of all of that, right over here where my arrow is Jerusalem. So it's kind of
Oh my word. How can you have Jerusalem in Pangaea if no one existed in Pangaea?
so stupid.
There was only land in Pangaea, Dr. David.
Look, an airplane. Look, a jet plane is not leaving a trail. It's amazing. I wonder why.
You know.
Oh man.
That's what they all do.
kind of refreshing to see modern day science catch up with Torah and to catch up with what we Jews have been believing since ancient times, that Jerusalem is the center of everything. And oh, by the way, as the 7 or 8 continents,
You couldn't think that Jerusalem was the center of everything because Jerusalem only came later on. It wasn't always there. Jerusalem wasn't always a thing in the Jewish how can I put it?
Yes.
History.
And they are not even from Jerusalem. They claim they are, but they're not. So they always lie. So whatever they say, always think opposite, and you know the truth.
But you understand? But look, I don't think all the Jews and everything lie. It's people like this.
All
This
because-
Kabbalistic.
yes,
Kabbalistic Jew.
but for them mainly is Talmud. They don't even read Torah anymore. Talmud, which is based on tradition.
Yeah.
It's Molech, Moloch.
Well, he reads the
Yeah.
Zohar, as you heard.
So
He's a
Yeah.
Kabbalist.
all of them, they are bad. Whoever calls himself a Jew
And-
and propagates
And
Talmud,
that's
he is Luciferian. Very simple. So all of them, whoever believes,
Yeah.
okay, if he doesn't practice, he just was born as a so-called Jew, grant. He is not aligned with them, grant. But all of them,
he's not God's chosen people,
they
Jew.
are not. They never were. God commanded to get rid of the last of them because they were Nephilim and they were from the seed of Satan. So he commanded people to get rid of them. Don't leave even one child alive. That's God's word. Gave them hundreds of
Yeah, that's
years
sad.
to change their ways. They didn't.
Can
And they
you
were
imagine a free for all where you could just go and take out anything that was nothing? That would be crazy. Can you imagine what that would really look like?
Aye.
But yeah, it's sad. It's just sad that a guy is able to come onto a pastor's platform and preach
Yeah.
deception.
Yeah. Yeah, that tells you a lot about Duffy. Well, we know about him anyway, but it just shows the more and more it's adding up against him, against these, especially what he professes to believe. You know, there's no way that he has faith in Christ. No way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, Derek. The Talmud was Babylonian. The Torah existed before the Talmud. The Talmud is like a cult offshoot,
Mhm.
you could say.
And they always tell them.
Torah is just the Old
They
Testament.
always lie and say that theirs was earlier.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. The Torah is just the Old Testament.
Yeah.
The Talmud and the Torah have differences, by the way.
continents have moved apart from each other. Jerusalem hasn't moved very far from this location. So
It can't move apart from each other because God said, it shall not
Yeah.
move. Who laid the land on the foundations? It shall not be moved.
Yeah.
Were you there when I drew the line across
Yeah.
the sky?
I mean, when there's
Placed
an
it on pillars.
earthquake, you don't see a bit of land break off and float across some other part of the other part of the world.
I wish I would have been there. I wish I could experience that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Unfortunately, true Christian, we have to call Pastor Duffy a pastor because he's a pastor by recognition of, you know, his pastoral duties. But we all agree that the guy is not worthy to be a pastor because of what he preaches. He's a heretic.
I mean, anybody can be a pastor. Anybody can get ordained online nowadays, can't they? So, yeah, I suppose you can call yourself
And
that.
we've seen the church now.
Yeah. Yes.
I've seen outhouses bigger than
I was
that.
going to say, I've seen closets that are bigger than that.
But what that little logo thing he uses for his church, upside down, that, of course.
The Baphomet, I was thinking again of it today. The Baphomet's head is exactly like that.
It is. It's like Baphomet wearing an upside down cross when you turn it upside down. Like Baphomet.
Oh, I didn't see the symbol. I was listening to it at that point, but I wasn't looking. I was distracted. I'll have to go back and check it.
Yeah, you turn it upside down.
And it's very Masonic based.
Well, that's just an extra bonus for you that I'll throw in there. Going back to our passage of Genesis chapter
day
1,
4.
verse 14 says, "And God said, let there be luminaries in the expanse of the heavens to see."
No, it said, and God said, let there be light.
It doesn't say let there be luminaries in the expanse of the heavens. What?
Yeah, there was light before the stars. Come on, what are they doing there? This is all, yeah. What's up? What?
He's just putting in his own words now. No.
So we have an anti-Bible.
God said, let there be lights in the firmament
Yes.
of the heaven.
Yeah.
To divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, for days and years. Notice that this is day 4, guys. Day 4. These guys needed the sun to be there on day 1.
Separate between the day and the night, and they shall be signs for you for the appointed times and days and years. Here again, we have the Rakia Hashemayim, so we have these luminaries, whatever they are, they're going to be put out there into the skies, into the expanse.
Nope. Rakia Hashemayim is the firmament of heaven. The firmament of heaven. He's calling like the expanse of the heavens. He's trying to say space, guys.
Yeah, they all do.
He's trying to say space.
That's called assumption, which is not in the Bible.
Hey, Amish Space Station, what's up, man? Good to see you. Yeah.
Answer the background of the skies in order us to create our calendars, right? I want to focus.
No. God didn't order you to create calendars. God put the luminaries in the firmament of the heavens, so you are able to know seasons, able to know the times.
Yeah, don't you know that everybody plants their plants? Like I've already planted my seeds. They get planted in early March for tomatoes and things. And so everybody goes by. That's how we know when to do it, is by when the stars are in a certain place, and that's when we plant stuff. And the flowers know. If you just watch the flowers in the grass, they start to grow in the spring. That's how you can know. They follow the same thing.
I mean, look, for instance, moss grows on a certain side of a tree.
The sky is your calendar.
Well, that's the same reason why you put solar panels on the same side of the house, isn't it?
Sky is the calendar.
It's because it gets more light over there, so it makes sense.
Sky is the calendar. You don't need to you don't. It wasn't made so you can make calendars. You know, just use it as the calendar.
Yeah, but let's see what his thing. He says 3 types of calendars. Okay, this should
3
be
types. Oh boy, that'll be fun.
Focus on 3 types of calendars from this verse. First one is the solar calendar, largely used by Christians, other people as well, but a lot of
Solar calendar is what you follow, David, Will Duffy, and all heliocentrists, and what everybody follows because it's Gregorian. The solar calendar is heliocentric based. Calendar is not just Islamic, David, so you're lying as well. The lunar calendar is
women know all
Hebrew.
about it.
Yeah, it's Jewish. Jewish is the lunar calendar. But now he's trying to separate it from the Islamic. The Islamists, which came 600 years after Christianity, by the way, took the Jewish calendars and started using it, which was lunar based. Why do you think the Jews have 13 months in a year? Because it's lunar based. Now he's trying to say, no, they use all luminaries. He's kind of making up his own stuff here.
Sounds like he's full of his own sauce. What it sounds like to me.
Mm-hmm.
Christians use the solar calendar. What do I mean by that? On the Gregorian calendar, it focuses on the sun and ignores the moon.
Yep.
So January 1st, which is the Gregorian New Year that a lot of Christians celebrate.
No, I don't know why he's calling it Christian. It's, what did I say? It would just be secular. Gregorian is a secular calendar.
Well, you got to remember,
Does
this is
any-
probably just in his experience too. He probably
Yeah, but
just
I mean-
based on who he knows.
Yeah, but I mean, let's see the Hindus. They still celebrate January the 1st as New Year. How about the Muslims today as well? They still have their own New Year's and whatever, but they still celebrate January the 1st as New Year. Everybody still, because it's secular, it's controlling the world system, which is the solar calendar, the Gregorian calendar. It's not just
No,
Christians.
so the banks are involved, so everybody goes with it. Yeah.
It's not just Christians. The Christians, unfortunately, just started following it thanks to the Catholics of the day. The Jesuits, they changed the calendars for the Christians to follow the solar calendar.
Always happens in the middle of the winter. It's always the same number of days after the winter solstice every year. However, the moon is irrelevant. Whether there's a new moon, a full moon, a waning moon, a waxing moon, it doesn't matter. January 1st is always fixed to the Earth's position to the sun in the middle of the winter. By contrast, you have the Islamic calendar, which is a lunar calendar. And it's the total opposite. It focuses on the moon and ignores the sun. So you have Ramadan is always going to be one lunar year after the previous Ramadan, but it can be in the summer, it could be in the winter, it could be in the spring, fall. It's the position of the earth to the sun is irrelevant for Ramadan. It's the earth's position to the moon. Whereas the Jewish calendar has to take all of the luminaries into consideration according to this verse 14 of Genesis chapter 1. So we have to build our calendar in a way that takes into consideration the sun and the moon and also the stars. Why do we need to do this? Well, we've got a couple of passages that explain why. One is Exodus chapter 12. We're talking about Passover. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month...
Okay. How can I put this? He's saying it's on all the luminaries. No, it's not. They don't take the stars into account. They take the sun and moon into account. It's called the lunar solar calendar. So, yeah. If I look at the U.S. Naval Observatory, they say the Jewish calendar dates back from the 359 CE. The official calendar state of Israel, along with the Gregorian calendar, is lunar solar calendar based on computations rather than visual observations. Sightings of the young crescent moon were used in ancient times. That's what I'm saying. The Jewish calendar was always lunar based. Later on became lunar solar, which means they use the sun and the moon, which is still, as he calls it, Christian. So he's not being 100% honest there either.
Yeah, I think he's drawing on that every Christian is the same, but we're not. We're all a little bit different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shall be for you the head of the months. To you it shall be the first months of the year. So the Jewish calendar has to start with this month over here, whatever this month is, but we'll find out in a minute what it is. And verse 18 of that same passage says, the first month on the 14th day of the month, in the evening you shall eat the unleavened bread, or as we call it, matzah in Hebrew. So that night from the 14th to the 15th is always going to be a full moon. Okay, so Passover always has to fall on a full moon. And then we find out in this passage in Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 1, to keep the month of spring and make the Passover offering to the Lord your God. For in the month of spring, the Lord your God brought you out of Egypt at night. Mm-hmm. So Passover must always be in the month of spring and on a full moon. So
you see what he's doing? Did you notice that, guys? What he's doing?
Yeah, he's tricking you psychologically.
Yes, but he is exactly doing that what God, Jesus prohibited them to do. They're focusing on small things instead of giving worship to God. Like they go with herbs to the last speck. So he's counting the days. They're going with those days. That's how it is. That because it's based on the Talmud.
Yeah,
you're reading into more than what God put it there for. Yeah.
But he's just basing on tradition, based on the Pentateuch.
Yeah, which is Talmud, not Torah.
Exactly. And just want to point out to everybody, look at his screen. Look at that. He's got the zodiac symbols on there. Astrology is evil, Dr. David, according to the Jewish belief system. Mm-hmm. So why are you pushing astrology?
I know. I mean, and again, shouldn't Duffy be seeing some stuff? You know, shouldn't I mean?
No, he won't. He's just sitting there like looking all confused. I don't think he knows any of this, so he just accepts it.
I mean, wow. He'd probably have Ouija boards and everything going on in his church.
He did just kind of fall into this thing, didn't he? Didn't somebody say he just kind of like
fell into
church on his lap?
Yeah,
I think so. His lap.
I think so.
Poor baby. Maybe he should just get out, you know?
Well, for our sake, yeah. Not ours, but other people's.
The people of Israel are prohibited by Jewish law to consult astrologers and stargazers for guidance.
Exactly. I mean, why are you looking at the stars for guidance apart from...
Why would anybody do that anyway? They don't know what they're talking about. That's
Judaism,
the problem.
complex relationship with astrology, with some Jewish authorities forbidding it and others believing it is in its influence. That's what I said. He's a Kabbalist, guys. Kabbalism uses astrology. He's a Kabbalist, out and out. That's why he reads the Zohar. Really, really bad.
I'm saying
really bad.
Looking to the stars to let them know what to do in life when they should be looking to God for guidance.
Mm-hmm.
But I do understand like why they get confused. I mean, it is kind of difficult.
You see a full moon, and you see the correct constellations for spring. And I'm not very good with horoscopes or these constellations, but I think it's Aries or Taurus. Somebody out there knows better than I do which constellation it should be. But you have to see the correct constellation. You get a full moon, and it's spring, and the Earth is in the correct position with the sun and moon and the stars. Then
No, you just certainly counted. And remember, the lunar calendar, which the Jews are based upon, well, today it's lunar solar, which is 13 months. In other words, they don't have leap years. They don't have any daylight saving nonsense, all that. It's just 13 months, lunar-based calendars.
Remember,
that's it.
Everyone.
So this guy's making stuff up.
Remember, in their tradition and their Talmud, it's justified to lie to Amalek and Goyim, and according to them, that's who we are. So they are justified in their own mind to lie to us. So why would you listen to someone who despises you?
Mm-hmm. No, what?
That's right. That's right. That's why I don't understand Satanists. You know, do they think that the devil loves them and he's got to give them a nice place and all that? When
It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And the Satanists do their rituals usually on a full moon because they believe that's when the most power is out. That's why Halloween is so important to them, because it's a certain type of full moon.
Harvest moon.
They can celebrate Passover and only that. So can you imagine how complicated it is to accurately predict the Passover on our calendar? Our calendar is a complicated calendar to figure out, and we've had to do that from ancient times. This year, Passover is going to be on April 12th. My ancestors calculated that the full moon for the first month of spring will be on this date, and they did this centuries ago. I challenge everybody out there. How could they do this without accurately understanding the heliocentric model of our solar?
Easy.
We don't need to.
It is called the Soros cycle. It's
Yeah,
called
go buy yourself a farmer's almanac and you'll understand everything.
Yeah, it's called observation. It's called things have a repetition of observation through the centuries. Everything is based on a cycle basis, David. There is no heliocentric belief system 2,000 years ago. The Jews didn't think it was heliocentric. They knew it was flat. This guy is a total numbnuts. He's a chuff nugget, as I would put it. He's just lying. Just blatantly lying and making stuff up. I'm definitely going to have a word with him when I do contact him. It's going to be, he's not going to be liking me much.
Solar system. We're going to talk more about this later, but I'm dropping a seed right now for you to sort of mull over how that could have been possible. Verse 20. Now, this verse, I think, is a nail in the coffin for flat earthers, and I see that they like to sort of sweep this verse under the carpet. They like to talk about verse 8 and verse 6 and these earlier verses, but I've yet to hear one exegete this verse here, and I wonder why. Let's take a look at what it says. In the English, it says, "And God said that let the waters swarm a swarming of living creatures. Among them, let fowl or birds fly over the earth across the expanse of the heavens." Now, I'm going to take issue with Chabad's translation.
So where are those birds
over here, because it's the same.
And where do flat earthers run from this?
I don't know. I've never met one that does, but who knows?
Let's go quickly back to the interlinear. I want to read it quickly, and then everybody see why would we be running from this? We don't need to. Mr. Dr. David, read what it says. And God said, "Let it bring forth abundantly the waters, the moving creature that has life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the," read this, "Panei rakia hasamim." In other words, the open firmament of heaven. That means sky. So remember, this is it's in context, very specific. Panim rakia samayim. That means sky. Remember, there's a difference between the firmament and the firmament of heaven. So, when you have the firmament of heaven, rakia hasamim, is different than panaim rakia hasamim. Get it? The open firmament of heaven. This would be the sky. So the birds fly in the sky. I don't know.
You'd have thought it'd been simpler.
It's amazing.
that's a
The birds fly in the sky. Wow, awesome. I learned something new today.
Same word alpane. So it's alpane rakia hashamayim. So they're saying across the expanse of the heavens. I would say that alpane implies
Open.
that these birds are going on or above the rakia.
No.
What?
But we don't care what you think. We go by what the Bible says.
Panem is open.
So it's
Remember,
not
it already
above anything.
Remember, it already say Yaopep al, which means may fly above.
Mm.
Okay? So it was already talking about the flying above the earth. And it's saying, where is it above? The panim, which is the open firmament rakia of heaven, samahim.
We can't expect truth from the liar's mouth.
No. Everything this guy is saying is literally bastardizing his own mother tongue.
Yeah.
And he's saying it. He's saying, this is what I think it says. He's admitting
He's
it.
changing the words. He's changing the meanings.
Of course he is.
It looks
From the
like he's
start.
thinking he's very bad. Instead of focusing on what's written, he's giving his interpretation of what's written and changing that. And scripture says you can't remove or add anything from the scripture.
Exactly.
He's doing that.
Exactly what Reg Juice said. Look, right, it's not what you think. You read the damn words.
Exactly.
Can audience see
on
how deceiving he is? Why I do not support those people? Because they are liars. Whoever is on the interview or MSN, they're always lying. There is no truth in them because their father is father of lies. There's no truth in them, and there is no salvation for them. Only for the ones who will believe in Christ and change their ways. That's the only salvation.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, we do pray for them, guys, that they do come right.
Yeah.
We do. Which is, but the thing is, they need to realize they are wrong. And unfortunately, they're blinded. They're blinded to not want to see the truth.
Look, I kind of get it why they're blinded, because they've been reasoned this way. They've been indoctrinated from the very early childhood. So they think it's true because everything around them is telling them this way. So if we would be reasoned the same way, we would think as well in a bad way. Because everything would tell us that's the way, that's the truth. But it's not, unfortunately.
Well, it's all about why would they lie?
Exactly, Jesus was a Nazarene.
Yes. Yeah.
King of the Judeans.
He was from Capernaum. He was speaking Aramaic.
It's sad because the people don't really want to look properly into the history of the bloodlines and everything. They just want to accept the what's being told to them, and then they accept that as truth, just like what this guy's saying.
Yeah, I agree 100% with the Godzilla. He knows what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Or above. Now, flat earthers love to be super literalists. I would literally like to have an explanation of how a bird can fly al, above,
Panim,
on,
panim,
on top of,
panim,
rakia,
panim,
Hashem.
panim. That means open. In other words, it's the sky which is inside the firmament of heaven. Remember, it already tells you.
Above the lines, isn't it? Above the lines
Yeah.
in the firmament.
Let's do this again. Vayomer Elohim Yisiru Hamayim Seres. Nepes haya viop eop al aretz. So may fly above the earth. Not above the firmament, above the eretz, earth. In the open firmament of heaven.
Yeah, yeah. They like to mash these words together and get an amalgamation meaning. Manipulated to death.
Crazy. So there is your so-called challenge totally demolished because there is no challenge.
Mine. That's that in a nutshell. Am I still? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're doing great. Yeah, you're doing great.
Of
Okay.
course, you wouldn't want people to watch the Dean Odell debate against Greg Locke because Greg Locke couldn't bring up scripture. Only Dean Odell brought up scripture.
Yeah, oh, for goodness sake. You're going on about, oh my goodness.
He's the only one that brought scripture up in that debate. Greg Locke didn't. Greg Locke brought one up, and the only one he brought up was about shame.
Yeah, and then turned into an aggressive little child.
And they ended up kicking all the people out.
Yeah, even his own congregation went against him. Well, not all of them, but some of them.
Some of them, yeah. Exactly. What's up, Charles? Good to see you, man.
That's good.
So with that, I'd like to shift gears and respond to Dean Odell's video. And I have to say, I watched this 4-hour, 41-minute, and 47-second video, so you don't have to. You're welcome.
In other words, please don't watch it, because if you watch it, it goes against what I say.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time proving me wrong.
This is what you would call deceptive sleight of hand. It's the same as seeing a bank robber holding a money bag in his hand and saying, "No, this money bag doesn't come from the bank. I'm taking it to the bank so you don't have to worry about it." But in the meantime, he's the one that took it from the bank. You're welcome. So how does that tie in with this? You don't watch the Dean Odell debate. You know why? Because you will get information I don't want you to see. So let me say how bad it is so you won't want to go watch it. Too bad for you, Dr. David. Many people have already watched it.
And can I just say to Charles, I just noticed that he emailed me back. Sunday, 2 p.m. is brilliant for me, Jedi. That'll be excellent, bro.
What I was going to say is, how about if everybody watches it and decides for themselves and not takes this guy's word for it? Because that's like the first thing in the Bible that it tells us in Proverbs is, do not take men's ideas as your own. Take God's idea.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. By the way, guys, good to see you all. Please hit the likes, share the show. We are over 100 people. I'm sure we can get to 100 likes. Really appreciate you all.
So can I think, yeah. Can I just say, I think it's Charles will be doing his testimony on mine Sunday at 2 p.m. GMT.
Woohoo!
By the sounds of it, I've just emailed them back. Unless something props up, unless something comes up between now and then, I suppose. But
make sure to catch that, guys. It's really going to be well worth it.
Cool.
Definitely. Charles rocks.
He does. He's already done it on Flatzoid. You guys seen him, so it'll be good, man. It'll be good. So all good. Nice one, Charles. So we'll do that Sunday. Excellent. Bless you, man.
Okay. This video is the poster child for a person can take the Bible and make it say whatever they want it to say.
Wow, the hypocrisy. Literally what you've been doing this whole presentation is doing what you're just talking against. Taking the Bible and saying what you wanted to say. The difference
This reminds me of my mom. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
The issue, though, that he has, the difference is Dean Odell, like us, actually have the etymology for the words. We can actually do exegesis on this stuff. You can't. You have to make shit up. We actually got the manuscripts to support us. You don't. You just got, trust me, bro. Wow.
By cherry picking a verse here and there out of context, twisting it in a way that it doesn't say what they're claiming it says, and then cherry picking various translations
So he's
all over the
self-analyzing.
place and trying to fit this square peg into a round hole. And it's so convoluted and confusing that I had to watch it several times.
No, it's actually very simple. He brought up Isaiah. Was
You had
that
to watch it
confusing?
several times.
Or how about Job? How about Joshua 10, guys? Is it very confusing? No. Is it cherry picking? No, it's not. It's literally making a point about the sun moving, not the earth.
Exactly.
There's no cherry picking involved there. It's only cherry picking because you don't like the outcome. You don't like the truth and what it says.
Of course. Cherry picking. Wow. It's you guys that change it and say the earth moved and not the sun. How are we cherry picking when we're just saying exactly what the text says? Crazy.
Exactly.
So I repeat, you're welcome. I'm not going to let you off the hook altogether. I'm going to torture you with a little bit of his nonsense. And we're going to watch a couple of minutes. I'm going to do two sections over here. One, yeah.
I bet he edits whatever he's showing. Bet.
Come on. What's going on? Get to it.
But expanding
Wow.
something that's solid.
Hold on.
Well, he's having trouble, isn't he?
There we go.
You can see the frustration on Duffy's face because nothing wants to work.
The Hebrew word for firmament is the Hebrew
Word rakia.
word rakia.
Uh-huh. And the root word is
It
raka,
has a
to
root
beat
word.
out solid, yes.
A three-letter root word. So you have rakia is the word for firmament, and the root word is raka, according to not only what the Hebrew meant, but also what they believed. So we have to see how God uses it. But firmament rakia does not mean an empty expanse. Anybody who tells you that the firmament or rakia means empty expanse, like Dr. Danny Faulkner of Answers in Genesis, he will say it's an empty expanse. The Hebrew word. Literally, it says it is an expansion of plates, broad plates beaten out. So it's literally, the word means taking something that's solid and beating it into a shape.
Uh-huh.
Okay? That's the definition of the word.
Yep.
The verb raka.
I want to point out that's exactly correct, D Nodal. No issue there.
Yeah.
So what's David Watts got a problem with?
Yeah, what's his
Because
point?
that's literally what it is.
He's backing us up.
It's simple, Flat. It doesn't align with his lies, so he has to oppose it. There's the sense of beating out precious metals, spreading that out, and results to spread over, to overlay. All right? He goes on here. Of course, this is
He's literally got the Brown Driver Briggs up to show.
Mm-hmm.
Did he cherry pick that as well? I mean, look there. Beaten out, compare, construct. The firmament regarding Hebrews was solid and supporting water. It's literally what he's got on the screen. He's debunking everything you said, David.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes, he separated water from water. Hello, he created an expanse underwater. Duh. Not rocket science, guys.
Driver Briggs, it says extended surface, solid, expanse as beaten out. Not an empty expanse, but expanding something that's solid over something. That's the picture of this word. And the Hebrews, the ancient Israelites, believed that it was solid. The firmament was a solid structure and called it the vault of heaven. So here's your definition. The vault of heaven or firmament regarded by the Hebrews as solid and supporting the waters above.
This is what all of the ancient Jews believed because they believed the Bible. Amen?
That's it.
They believed it about the firmament. Here is another lexicon, Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon.
He's not doing a good job to try and make his point here because he's literally let people get the information he doesn't want them to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Look, God is using even deceivers in a good way, you know. So he's probably used by God.
I hope-
Well, that's because most of them aren't very smart. They just follow along.
That's the problem. Hopefully you had some people that actually have logic and looked through this and actually heard what Denoder was saying. And like, hang on, David, you just lied to us.
It's rocky like this. The firmament of heaven spread out like a hemisphere above the earth, like a splendid, pellucid, translucently clear, transparent, crystalline, glassy, allowing the maximum passage of light as glass, sapphire, stone, to which the stars were supposed to be fixed, and over which the Hebrews believed that there was a heavenly ocean. Now, this is another lexicon defining it as they believed it, as the Bible spells it out, not as new Copernican Christians want to believe it is to be.
Okay, so
What's
I'm
up,
not going to
Roger?
torture you anymore.
Good
Not
to
much.
see you, man.
It's kind of like writing an instruction manual and like saying exactly the opposite of what you want to do, right? Is that what he's saying?
Kind of.
Or you need, yeah. So, so now I'm going
Yeah,
to
it's
show
like
you.
I know this shorter bullet won't fit in this hole, but I'm going to put it there anyway because it's faster.
Oh, yeah. that was a good one. Good morning, gentlemen. This
good
is
to you.
idiocracy, isn't it? That's exactly what this is.
But I mean,
Read that.
how's Duffy? You can see Duffy stressing because he's sitting here and he's reading everything that shows the crust is not the firmament. Oh, man.
I believe now he is waiting for this supposed doctor explanation. So, oh yeah, you see, he's right. You see, he explained that. He knows Hebrew. So listen to him.
I think all he's going to do is say, oh, he cherry picked. That's going to be his answer and move on. Without having showing how he cherry picked or what information he showed wrong while he literally had the stuff on screen. Huh.
More. That was, I'd have to say, the most intelligent thing he had to say in his 4-hour, 41-minute, and 47-second sermon.
Now, he's not Jewish.
First thing I'd like to point out is that his sources are not Jewish. He's claiming that ancient Jews believe this. I do have to qualify that by saying that he does go on to talk about Josephus in the Greek.
Okay, guys, is the Torah Jewish?
I'm gonna go with yeah.
I think it might be.
That literally comes from the Torah, David. So is he claiming the Torah is not Jewish?
Well,
It's Hebrew. That's what it is.
Yeah, but that's where the Jews came from Hebrew.
Wow.
If you catch the guy who is stealing things by the hand, he will say it's not his hand.
Mm-hmm. Look at this. He puts it there. He says Rakia means background, which fits nicely with expanse sky.
It would go good on a set in a certain place, background. Yeah. Maybe in Antarctica.
There is no translation which says Rakia means background.
Who said that?
That's what he's got on screen.
Oh, okay. Sure. I'm going to say
Raka means to beat out solid.
And I can't interact with Josephus in the Greek because I don't understand Greek, and it'd be irresponsible for me to do so. However, with what I saw him butcher...
Flash. All you got to do is look at the meaning in a Greek dictionary, right? You find the meaning of the word. How hard is that to comprehend? Is he an idiot? Oh, don't answer the question.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, Godzilla, but that's how we want to say. The people, unfortunately, push today as soon as you are an Israelite, you're a Jew automatically, which is not true. Because the narrative is pushed that Israelites are automatically Jews.
Yes, which is total lie. Because I've said it I don't know how many times. Word Jew was invented by Masonic King James and put in the King James Bible in 1611. There was no name Jew before 1611. Get to your freaking head. So, and even so-called Jews, which we call them today Jews, were never part of 12 Semitic tribes. They were never Israelites. So it's a
Tribe of
lie.
Judah. Yeah, I mean the 12 tribes was very
Yes.
specific.
And they were not even from the lost tribes of Israel. So you can't place them in as Israelites. It's a lie because they are liars.
Well, Godzilla says, well, you said the Torah is Jewish. It's not. It's Israelis. No, the Torah is Jewish. Torah is definitely
Yep,
Jewish.
Torah is Jewish, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
In the Hebrew language, I can't imagine that he.
Whoa! How did he bastardize the Hebrew language? He literally had the source on screen. He read off of the source.
He's the one that's bastardizing things.
Yeah, but I mean, he's literally read it off the source. How is he bastardizing what's written?
Treated the Greek any better.
Sorry?
They lie to themselves also, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what belief is? Like you got to keep telling yourself lies. If you don't know it, it's becomes a belief, right? By definition.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it's a wrong belief, but definitely.
Yeah,
definitely
I know.
a belief if they believe it, yeah.
And if you're going to testify in court or become an actor and do stuff that's not true, you have to lie to yourself to believe it, right? So
right.
The more you believe it, the more you can act it out. It doesn't change reality. It's just the way it is.
Of course not. Just because you don't believe it or you do believe it doesn't make it true or untrue. No, just because you don't believe it or you do believe it, truth is the truth, despite what you believe.
So if God made something that works as is, why would you really want to change it? I don't get that. If God made a firmament over our heads that keep us...
because you're a stubborn dumbass and you think you know everything. That's why.
Well, I didn't know that qualified him. I guess it does.
You see, the reason the Torah is considered Jewish, Godzilla, it's because it's based upon the Judaic law, written law. So it's Judaism. That's why we can say the Torah is Jewish. That's all. Remember, the Jewish is just Jewish is just a name given, like Yanu said, but it's Judaism.
Yeah, Jewry.
Ah.
And unfortunately, what King James did, he combined few tribes of Israel from the 12 Semitic tribes, and they called them Jews. And he mixed the Canaans in it, and Canaans, and from the Cain and Abel, and they were from the seed of Satan. That's why God said, destroy all of them, because even if one will survive, there will be no peace in the world. That's his words, not mine. Yeah.
And they didn't obey.
Yeah.
Didn't somebody else try to make a master race too, besides...
I
think that's what you're looking for.
He would have liked me.
Oh, come on. That's just a rumor.
He'd have liked me.
Look, I will post now a short video. Dustin Nimas, he does pretty good job with the explanation, who they are, where they came from, and so on. I would add much more, but as for the basic knowledge, it's really enough.
For that to a Greek expert who could, or an expert on Josephus who could answer him. But in the Hebrew texts, all of his sources that he cites that claim to express what my ancestors believed, they were all non-Jewish sources. Second thing I'd like to point out is Reka means background, which fits nicely with expanse or sky. So you have birds flying.
Reka means background.
Reka.
Reka means background.
Means background.
Ooh, that is so wrong. That
If
is
you're
so
gonna
wrong.
be like acting
Really
like you
right.
know the language, at least say it right. It's Reka.
He doesn't know. He just doesn't know. I don't know it. I know he doesn't know it.
They picked this guy up at the YMCA, gave him a script to read, and stuck him in front of a screen. That's what
This
happened.
is just another fit up job by Duffy. Oh, let's get on and do this and show that your kind doesn't say what they say it says, you know? Come on. Spangles.
It's quite sad. I want to get Raka. Okay, the primitive word, is it showing on screen? Okay.
Aye.
A primitive root, to pound the earth as a sign of passion. The analogy expand by hammering, by implication to overlay with thin sheets of metal, to beat, to make broad, spread abroad, forth, and over out into plates, stamp, stretch. Raka, to beat, stamp, beat out, spread out, stretch, quell, to stamp, beat out. One who beats out, peel, to overlay, beat out for plating. Pull, beaten out participle, hiffle, to make spreading of clouds. Primitive root. There we go. So tell me again how he says background.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as means background.
That's what I'm saying. He's just putting his own crap into it. He's just putting his own stuff into it.
This guy's literally just lying.
He's not picking cherries. He's actually planting cherries on the tree.
Exactly. He's standing there. He's standing there with a truck and just throwing all the cherries in the truck.
Think about it this way. It says somewhere, Jesus says somewhere, he says, never say to your friend, Vreka, right? In other words, I'll beat you up. Get it? Because he means beating out. So that's why he would say it. So it obviously doesn't mean what he says it does. I got that covered.
No, that's different. That's Raka. That means fool. That means imbecile. That's Raka. That's a different meaning. That's
different?
A different meaning.
Damn it. Okay, well.
But I get you. But it's close. It's very close though. Very close.
It literally said to beat out plates, right? And to beat out like it's just like it's like metalworking. That's what it sounded like to me by the definition. So God made an expanse out of like metal. And that would make sense, right?
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with the background, does it? I mean, I guess you can make a metal plate a background, but I don't know why they get to interpret it. Doesn't make any sense.
No background.
No background.
He didn't say it was metal. He said it's a crystalline, but it's beat out. Think about it.
He did. We said crystalline.
So it's a glass dome. Come on. It's not that hard to understand.
He must be really skilled. Well, I guess he created the stuff to begin with, so he can make it any way he wanted to.
I only say dome because of the stars. I mean, I know we don't bring that into the subject much, but the stars do prove that there's a dome.
Bad word. Yeah. Dome.
Someone mentioned that he's making huge mental gymnastics. Yes, he does. He has to support himself with the lies, changing the word of God, to push his global agenda. So if you're honest, intellectually honest, you will see he's a liar. But if you're a glober, you will believe any lie which supports your perception of reality. That's very simple.
And also all the people that tell you that the sky's flat, they're lying to you because it says right there. It says it right in the Bible, in the Torah. It's not flat. The sky's not flat, just grounded.
And you can clearly see that he's deceiving people and he's pushing the globe. So why you would believe this guy saying he's a globe when you can clearly see he's lying about everything?
Mm-hmm. But you know what the irony is? David is not pushing Will Duffy's crust is the firmament. BS.
I wonder why. I mean, that would be a bad proof.
He's sitting.
Maybe deliberately so they can separate.
He's sitting with a bit of a conundrum because if he says David's correct, then that means there's no crust of the firmament. Mm-hmm. If he says he's wrong, then that means that we are right.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's saying much.
I make a small prediction now. I think Will Duffy will implement some of the talking points of the David, and he'll be using them. We will see in his future interviews.
Have you not noticed that every time Duffy talks, he's got an echo? So he's probably done that as a distraction so he doesn't have to talk. Because he will be in a conundrum, like Flat says. He will be.
Yeah. Well, I think he's going to go back and reinterpret this as what Duffy wants it to be later when nobody's looking.
Mhm.
He'll just weasel back
Remember,
in.
he's just cashing checks. Or whatever he said. Remember when he said he's getting you to agree with him so he can cash checks or whatever the hell he's.
Mm-hmm.
Which fits nicely with expanse or sky. So you have birds flying in the background of the sky. Just pointing that little tidbit out there. Oh, and one more question in light of Genesis 1:20. How do birds and airplanes fly on top of this metal plate or crystal dome? Remember, Genesis 1:20 said that birds fly on or above
It is very clear.
the.
We made this very clear. Let's do it again.
It doesn't.
And God said,
slowly,
let it bring forth abundantly the waters, the moving creature that has life, and fowl that may fly above the earth.
Above the earth.
Above the earth.
In the firmament.
In the open firmament of heaven. Uh-oh.
That was pretty clear, Flex. I don't know how he came.
Very clear. Yeah. Very clear.
Quite crazy.
So clear.
Rakia Hashemayim. And commercial airplanes can fly even higher than birds, and I've been on my fair share of commercial airplanes. I have never.
Why is he ignoring Panim? Why is he ignoring Panim, Rakia, Hashemayim? He ignores it specifically.
Because it doesn't fit his agenda.
Or he's got brain damage, one of the two.
I'll take the latter.
I mean, look, it's Duffy.
Simple. The AI notes that they had made for him from the AI told him not to say anything about it.
Has Duffy done nothing that he said? All he's done is sit there like a bloody robot and that with that grin on his face.
And smile every time he says something.
Oh, so annoying. Do you think he does this intentionally now because we know it's annoying?
No, what's really scary is when you imagine like the people in this church, they're actually fooled by it, actually smile and think it's cute.
Oh, wow.
Oh, isn't he so cute? He smiled again. Come on, smile for us, Duffy. Smile.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Solvi in the house.
Hey.
What's up, man?
What's up,
Peace. Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you, Grandpa.
Hey,
What's up,
what do
Pappy?
I get for Christmas, Grampy? I want a Red Ryder BB gun. You'll put your eye out with that.
Hey, I'll pay for it if we can get all these guys in the same room with you so I can watch you punch them out, bro.
You muted, man.
Who's that now?
Yes. It's Duffy's little puppet, though.
Yeah, this guy. Wow. What a.
He doesn't understand what panem means. He's Hebrew, but he doesn't know what panem means. He doesn't know what open means. He thinks raka, which means to beat out, is background.
What?
Yeah. Notice that Dean Odell showed exactly sources for what he said and read it out. He just says it's background. He doesn't show the source for the background he claims.
And that idiot Duffy just sits there and grins. Goes,
He just sits there and smiles. But I was like saying everybody before you got in now. Duffy sits with a bit of a conundrum. Because this whole David's argument is showing the crust of the earth is not the firmament.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And he's agreeing with him.
Yes,
So if he's agreeing with him, then the crust of the earth is not the firmament according to Duffy. Or he doesn't agree with him and therefore makes it us right because we don't agree with either of them.
Look, I have to look into the Chabad translation Because if I recall correctly, even the Rakia says it's a firmament. So I think he has just chosen different translation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his interpretation. Oh, that smile, my grandma calls that a shit-eating grin. That's what she calls that. Just so
I've
you know.
never heard that expression before. Where does
Shit
it come
eating
from?
green. Okay. Good one.
So you think Duffy's?
Well, imagine if you were eating a pile of, you know what, and you liked it, and someone caught you, you'd have a smile on your face, and you'd have shit all in your teeth, right? That's what you imagine.
God, I get it.
Like in this joke, we just kind of.
Now you know what my mind thinks of every time I hear that.
Duffy is sitting, and eating something and thinking, oh, chocolate. Nah, it's shit. Nah, chocolate. Tasting again. Nah, shit. Again tasting. Nah, chocolate. But how the fuck chocolate get to my ass?
No, man.
I think he's going to just punch me in the face, man. That's what it is. Simple as that.
So if you heavily medicate a population and you start lying to them, they'll just buy anything you say, right?
All right.
Crashed into a dome.
Well, from the size of it, how big could the church be? I mean, how many people could fit in there? Really?
If somebody else has out there, feel free to explain it. But I don't see how a plane could fly on top of a solid stone, metal.
Since when does it say a plane does that?
It doesn't say it flies over. It says it flies over what? The earth. Eretz.
Yes.
In the open panim, rakia, firmament, shamaim of heaven.
But he's talking about planes. I'm sure the Torah doesn't mention anything about airplanes.
No.
He literally said a plane then.
Oh no, it definitely talks about planes in there. It talks about the earth as a plane.
Yes.
And
planes. Yeah.
Yeah, but not airplane.
That's why it's specified that it's airplane.
I just had to throw that in.
Yeah, the show really, really does help. You guys rock. Okay.
So you can just take under consideration what aeroplane.
How do birds fly and airplanes fly above this metal plate or crystal dome? They don't. They're under it.
Exactly. He thinks they're above it. He thinks that's what the Hebrew says. It's above it.
Well, let's just put it again. This is what it says, Sov. I'm going to read out again for like the 10th time. And God said, let it bring abundantly the waters in the moving creatures that have life and fowl that may fly, listen here, above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. So it's very clear. The birds fly where? Above earth, correct?
In the sky, yes.
In the open firmament of heaven. In other words, the birds fly above the earth in the sky.
Well, I would say that we just have to look up and think about it, and it would make sense because obviously we see the birds flying over our heads. So obviously,
yeah. But now this moron saying, "Oh, they can't fly in the firmament because it's solid." He's an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
So for the munching.
That's my question to put out there for him. The next little bit of torture, it's only going to be, I promise you, only a 30% torment that I'm going to have you watch, is on this.
You're bringing Michael Heiser. Claims not very clever, Dr. David. David.
Well, this guy's on fire.
This will be the last little bit you'll have to listen to, and then we'll move on.
Oh, you mean your show's ending?
And I'll tell you why they call it missing mass. The missing mass is called the firmament. You're going to see that in a second. That's what. Skip ahead here. I've already talked about this. This is what is called the Hebrew concept of the universe. This is what the Bible teaches. All right? And we'll get back to this in just a second, but it shows you that this is what the firmament is, the dome structure over the flat, non-rotating earth. Hell is beneath, heaven is above that. God's throne sits on that. This is what the Bible teaches. There's all the scriptures around that. We're going to get to that in a second.
Okay. So here again, his sources are not Jewish. So here he's
Again, the Torah. It comes from the Torah, David. Are
Torah
you throwing
is
away
Hebrew.
the Torah? Yeah.
The Torah is Hebrew, not Jewish.
Well,
Yes, but the
consider
Jews
Jewish
have taken over
because
it,
of
claim as their own now.
yeah, they took it over. That's why it's considered Jewish. The Jews follow the Torah. Let's put it that way.
So if Trump owning a casino, he's following along the Indians, so he can claim to be an Indian, right?
Yeah.
Well, he is part Indian if you think about it.
But the point is, the Jews of today follow the Torah. Okay.
Not exactly
So-
Torah. They follow Talmud. They claim the
They
Torah.
follow the
They
Talmud.
claim
Yeah,
they follow.
not all of them.
Yeah.
Not all of them. But they're supposed to be following the Torah because of the Talmudic, because of the laws, the Judaist laws. But like I'm saying, so David here is saying that Moses, which I agree was not Jewish, he was a Hebrew, but he's the law that came from and the way it explained, which is based upon now what they call Jewish today, is Jewish source. What they call Jewish, I would say. It's ancient Hebrew for a reason.
claiming that my
So you can
ancestors
distinguish the difference.
believed this depiction,
Yes. did.
and yet he uses this image with this text that comes from a website called logos.com or logos.org.
Yeah, from Michael Heiser. Michael Heiser would rip you apart with everything you've just said. You do know that. If Michael Heiser was alive today, he's probably turning in his grave thinking, what the hell is wrong with this guy?
It's logos.something.
Just wait till the resurrection. We're going to see
website
some
for
shit.
pastors
Mm-hmm.
and not a Jewish website or a Jewish source. And I'd like to put a challenge out there for anybody who wants to look into whether or not my ancestors believed anything that looked like this
We
depiction.
already
Yes,
did, and we
simple.
confirm it.
We just
Yes.
said, read the Torah. Read the Torah. Literally, Genesis, the thing you just read to us, it depicts that.
Well, he read to us changed version of Genesis.
Yeah. Obviously not his made-up heretic version. The actual scripture, the actual Hebrew scripture, depicts that. That's what Michael Heiser took from actual Hebrewic roots.
Looks like a new age has slipped into the Christian church, huh?
Uh-huh. This guy reminds me of like the woke Christian community of these days. He reminds me of the woke Christians today, where you got all these gay and lesbians and whatever pastors in churches now.
Oh man, it's like,
That's
come
what this guy
on.
reminds me.
This thing, they got so many people boomed out into this crap where this Judeo-Christian
Wait,
crap.
aren't
And it's like,
aren't
holy
Christian standards based on change because you acknowledge that something's wrong? Like I always thought, like I'm not saying that there's a rule, but wouldn't you change those bad things before you went to church?
Yeah, unfortunately, Michael
Maybe.
Heiser didn't believe what the Bible was saying on this, but he had the integrity to say, this is what it depicts. This is what the ancient Hebrews knew it to be. So at least he had integrity to admit that, even though he didn't believe it either. You know what I mean? So we can give that up for Michael Heiser.
All right, get down for a second.
I invite you to come to Jerusalem, to the National Library here in Jerusalem, which has the most extensive library collection of books of Jewish texts throughout history, all kinds of languages.
I'll go if he pays for me.
And I challenge you to find a Jewish text in the National Library here in Jerusalem that depicts this as part of.
Okay. When will you pay for my plane ticket? I'll be more than happy to do it, and then I'll just open Genesis for you. That's all we need. We just need Genesis. This guy's digging a hole that he's not supposed to make.
That's I claim what I claim.
Any kind of.
They are deceivers. They always lie. They think about you as you are beneath the animals, dogs. That's how they describe you and me and all of the people who believe in Christ. They claim that the Christ is burning in the hell in excrement. That's what they claim. That's their freaking Talmud.
Jewish philosophy. If this flat earth is important to you and you want to research the truth, then you should be happy to go to the National Library in Jerusalem. I've had to spend many hours there doing my own research. I can't claim that.
What did
I've
Jesus
seen
say,
every
though?
book because it is.
By the way, you don't need to go to the
Jesus said to
library
read the
to get
scriptures.
information. It's literally at your fingertips. We live in the information age.
Yeah, what do
You
we need to go
literally
to
just type it in.
Jerusalem for? To prove flat Earth? Why? I mean,
Uh-huh.
how? By going to Jerusalem? Okay.
Yep.
Lovely.
So let me put it this way. He wants us to go all the way to Jerusalem to open up a manuscript which shows exactly what we can just get on the internet, what we spoke about tonight. Because that's literally what you do. You just go there and say, hey, let's go to Genesis 1 in the Torah quickly. Oh, look what it says. Guess what? It depicts what's written here that you said was not showing.
Madness, man. Absolute madness.
It's an exhaustive collection of Jewish texts, but I'd be happy to even go with you if you want, and we can go together, or not if you don't want, and look for a Jewish text somewhere that depicts this imagery of the universe, or this portrayal of Jewish thought, thinking that.
I would like to ask him, does he believe Moses was a true prophet? Because last time I checked, God told Moses about this. God told Moses how he made the world.
Yeah.
And Judaism hinges on Moses and his teachings and his laws.
I mean, I'm sure when Moses was up on Mount Sinai and the Ten Commandments were getting ready, sure the Ten Commandments weren't all that was spoken about, you know?
Yep.
Our world looks like this. And by the way, before I move on, I want to point out another interesting thing. In the zeal to claim that the Earth is not a globe, I find it interesting that they depict this as a globe, a wrong
No, they
globe,
don't.
but a globe too. It's
This is a globe.
round, but
He's just made it round for artistic rendering. That water, it could be a square if they wanted to make it a square. It doesn't matter. It's just to say there's water around. Oh my word.
Come on. Exactly in duty and God.
Oh, yes. One more question I have for flat earthers on this topic. How does water stick to a dome without a container or gravity?
Oh my word.
What?
That's on top of it, you moron.
So, isn't this the question flat earthers asked them?
Oh my!
He was just trying to flip, our question to fit his narrative, but he fucked up.
I was going to say, hasn't he ever been in a swimming pool with a ball and tried to pull it under? Come on, think about it.
How does water stick to a dome without a container or gravity? The dome is a container, first of all, you numbnuts, and gravity is not a thing.
What a nutty.
Gravity doesn't exist.
These
It's
people
not
hurt
even
my
a
brain.
force. Yeah, I'm actually getting a headache watching this. This is more frustrating than actually anything. But like I said, we have to do this so we can get the truth out there, because Duffy and this guy is pushing falsehoods and misinformation to his audience that just accept what they say.
That's why they are both perfect match.
Uh-huh. Woo.
Yep, like the top of my head in the cue ball. Yep, exactly.
I don't know if anybody has heard this challenge from flat earthers to globers.
That's what I said.
I'd
Flip
like
it.
to repeat this back over
Exactly, like you said.
But he fucked up.
to you. You claim that there's all of this water sticking to this dome on the side.
Sticking. Okay, I'm going to ask you guys something. If you have a swimming pool of water and
Yeah,
you
see, he
jump,
thinks that we're in space, and then there's a big blob of water or something. He's just lost his mind, bro. That's all.
he thinks it's sticking to. There's no water sticking to anything.
Wow.
It's saturated in water. It's like taking an egg and throwing an egg in water. It's
Yeah.
covered in water. It's not sticking to anything.
Here's some asinine. What? Come on, guy.
The firmament is separating that waters from our waters.
That's all it is. It's like a submarine. The walls of the submarine keep the water from outside coming into the submarine.
But in
Is
that
that
submarine,
water-
you can still have a puddle of water on the
And
floor.
guess what shape that? And guess what shape that submarine is?
Round. But think about it. If you take that submarine wall away, what happens?
Water rushes in.
Yeah.
That's why torpedoes work.
Yeah.
Then you just have one of those media expresses where they show, video of it exploding underwater. Yeah, exactly.
Man, this guy.
Over here.
Yeah, this
and
guy is
over
beyond
here.
redemption.
And by the way,
I don't like saying this, but he's retarded.
Remember?
these sides are to the
Which means slow, just to let people know.
Yeah,
Because people
retards.
think, how can you be a Christian but you call someone retarded? It's like, well, I can't help it. You don't understand the word means slow.
Retards attract
Hey,
retards.
listen, if your brain don't work right, it just don't work right, regardless. It doesn't matter if you're a Christian or not. It's the fact of the matter is, this guy's brain is not wired correctly.
Maybe we should define what we mean by retard. That way they understand it's not a racist term. It's just us trying to describe what we're looking.
But
it's not interrupting him. He's listening.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, this stream he had is very, very bad for him. Because from now on, he can't bring up the crust of the firmament anymore.
No.
Firmament of the crust. Because if he does, we say, but did you agree with David? If he says yes, then said, oh, well, then you don't have a crust firmament anymore.
No, but I do. Because
Then how did you agree with him?
side of the earth, not above the earth, or on the sides. But that's all just, technicalities, I'm sure. But explain to me how this water sticks to the sides
There's no sticking.
of this dome. I'd be interested to hear how you explain that.
It's in water.
Let's go to some real...
Sorry?
I'm saying it's in bloody water.
Yeah.
Maybe we should say it's not just flat Earth we believe in, but we believe that space doesn't exist. Maybe we should put that in the name.
It's a good one. Okay, let's see.
Jewish texts that are ancient. Okay.
Talmud. This guy is Kabbalistic.
Now, my background is this timeline here that is 4,000 years of Jewish history from time before the
Now he's
time of
justifying
Abraham.
what?
You mean
till
Babylon
today.
Before the
history?
time of Abraham. Whoa,
Babylon history, you mean? Not
Whoa,
the
wait.
Yeah.
How did he have the time before Abraham? There were no such thing as Jews before Abraham.
So yeah.
He might be a little bit confused.
Well, Jews stemmed from Abraham. He was not a Jew himself.
No,
Yeah, but he
stemmed
says
from him,
before Abraham. He says before Abraham.
Full of shit.
It's an Abrahamic faith, so how can it be before?
Exactly. The Israelites.
They were not from Abraham. They were not connected to him. So they're claiming they are, and
Yeah,
people
claiming.
believe it. That's the problem.
I'd like to consult with a couple of texts to see if they can answer any of our questions that we have here tonight. One being the Mishnah that was written between 180 and 200, and the Jerusalem Talmud, which was a continuation
Okay, fair
and
enough.
an expansion from the years 200 400. That would be these texts here, the Mishnah and the Talmud. See if we can get any answers out of those. So the Mishnah, I have a link to this Mishnah here. I didn't copy it here. Simply,
I wonder if he celebrates Rosh Hashanah.
You didn't copy it. You can
For the
still
sake
type
of
it out
time.
if you want to go to it. I mean, he could have if he wanted to go to it.
Yep.
I bet he just believes it.
and it takes up a lot of space. But you're welcome to look at my source of information. Go to this Mishnah, Tractate Rosh Hashanah, Chapter 2, Mishnah 8. And I'll summarize what it's about. If you remember, earlier I talked about, when we were talking about Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, and the complexity of the Jewish
He's
calendar
very picking
that was calculated in ancient times, and we still continue to use it to this day, and it has gone without a hitch most of the time, except for 1 year. There's only 1 year in documented history where there was a glitch in our calendar. And what it was when the Sanhedrin was on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay.
We had to calculate our new year every year. Now each month, including the first month of a new year, starts on a lunar calendar with the new moon, which is this phase of the moon over here. Now you can imagine to the untrained eye how it's very hard to see a new moon. There's just this tiny little sliver.
Well, you can't see a new moon. That's what it means, new moon. New moon is literally nothing
Yeah, that's
there.
what you can't see.
Flat.
Yeah.
But he has trained the eye, so he can see it.
Yeah, that is the only moon you can't see.
That's why you got waxing and moon and waning.
Yeah. Waning gibbous, waning crescent, waxing gibbous, waxing crescent,
Oh my word.
first quarter, third quarter, new moon, and
I can't really think of
New moon.
anything this guy's
New moon.
presented that actually has any substance of truth to anything.
Oh, they're there. They're right
If
there.
you're
And we agree now.
not
Finally,
trained to look
they are
for it,
liars and deceivers. No exception. If they believe in Talmud, all of them, no exception. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, Talmud is not. Yeah, it's not a good thing. Has anybody actually seen what's in the Talmud?
Yeah, I did read it. I had the unpleasure.
Scary. It's very scary.
They have to keep it a secret. They openly say that if the Goyim were to read what they say about them in that stuff, that's why it was oral for so many years. Then that means they would hunt them down and kill them. That's what they were afraid of. But they it's like maybe your belief system's off.
it is very hard to see, and you can mistake this new moon either for this waning crescent, which is on the wrong side, right? That's on the left side. This is on the right side. And if you make that mistake, then you'll go a day early. And if you wait too long and you get the waxing crescent, then you're going to be a day late in calculating the new year or the first day of the month, right? So back in the temple era, we had sort of this triangulation of, in order to calculate when the new year was. We had this calculation, this mathematical calculation that we still use to this day. Alongside of that, there was this ceremonial ritual where they would invite witnesses to say that they saw the new moon, and it would be verified with the calculation. They would line up with each other, and
I don't understand what any of this got to do with the firmament. Am I missing something?
Nothing.
I haven't heard anything about the firmament in the past like 10 minutes. Period. I don't know.
the Sanhedrin would declare the new moon, and therefore a new month or a new year. However, this 1 year after the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem, the Sanhedrin, for the first time, was forced out of Jerusalem over to Yavne, which is over here. Now, you have a distance here of 60 kilometers or so, which is about 37 miles, and you have a difference in elevation. Yavne is along the coast here, which is close to sea level, and Jerusalem is in the mountains, a couple thousand feet or a couple hundred meters high in altitude. And this first year after the destruction of the temple, where they had to move this distance, the sensitivity of the calculation is such that the Earth's rotation will skew it on that distance.
Even he knows he's full of shit. Come on.
What, 60 miles? Does he think? He said 60 miles, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How will 60 miles change any observation if
60 kilometers or 37 miles.
Okay, I want to ask a question. This I don't know. They claim the moon is 253,000 miles away.
49,
Like 47.
49, something like that. I think it's 40 something.
238,000 miles is the current.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So 238,000 miles away. If you move 60 miles across the plane, would anything change of that moon? No.
Speaking of the temple, are they getting close to building that thing yet?
Yes, they are. Very close.
Nice.
So I don't know whether people are sitting on Satan's short season, because they're going to have a big rude awakening when the son of perdition is going to declare himself God in the third temple.
Yeah, Ryan's right.
I got something for them.
Ryan's right. 238 miles. 238.855 miles.
1,000 miles.
Yeah. Sorry, yes. Of course.
I actually know a lot of trivia when it comes to flat Earth. I just don't ever talk about it much.
I said point, didn't I? I meant that's actually point, idiot.
I wouldn't have went there because, you might have been wrong. You might have forgot the wrong number, and then you would have got called a liar or something. You never know.
It's all good.
Yeah, because how dare people make mistakes?
Oh, no.
If you try to declare
a new moon
from...
But I tell you what I said is probably closer than what they say.
Probably.
Temple Mount in Jerusalem, while in Yavne, then you're going to visually see the new moon appear at the wrong time, because you're seeing it from Yavne instead of Jerusalem. And
how can you see it at the wrong time? You're only 60 miles apart. So is the moon a local moon now?
Yeah. How can you see a new moon anyways? That's what I was thinking.
I want to ask everybody, if I see a new moon...
Nobody's ever seen a new moon. It disappeared.
EJ, you guys in the UK, do you see the new moon the same night as me? Yes, you do.
Yeah, of course.
And how far away is the UK from South Africa?
A few
A
thousand
lot further
miles.
than 60 miles.
Definitely.
It happens the same here, bro, and I'm way farther away.
How
This
far
guy's
am I?
talking absolute bullshit. Duffy, why aren't you doing anything about this, man? This is an embarrassment.
And there was this one year where they made this mistake of having the observation be out of line with the calculation, and it caused a crisis in Jewish identity. What do we do? What we've since done is we dropped that ceremony because it only works on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, and we only use that calculation. We've continued with the calculation to this day. And by the way, that calculation not only works for the moon but also for the sun. Every week, Jews have to rest for the Sabbath, and the Sabbath starts Friday at sundown. And you can imagine sundown in Jerusalem and sundown.
Huh?
He said a key word. Did you hear what he said? The word he used?
What would it be?
It was assumption or something stupid like that. Or assumption. That's what he said. They guessed and they were correct, so they must be God now. That's what he's saying, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe says Duffy
Down in Tel Aviv.
looks angry and confused. Oh, what you mean? His
He
face
does.
has changed from a grin.
He does look very confused.
He
Oh
does.
yeah, he wears his.
Are
He
not
wears
the same.
his. He wears it on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Same time. They are different times. So if you look at any Jewish newspaper, any Jewish website that keeps track of what time sundown is on Fridays for the Sabbath, you will see that this distance from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv are going to have different times. They're going to have a list of when sundown is for Jerusalem, which is different from Tel Aviv, which is different from
No,
Haifa.
really? Could that be because we have a local moon and sun?
Ooh.
Ever thought of that, David? So it's not the Earth rotating with a 93 million mile away sun? Oh, no.
Hey, Flash, I'm going to tell you this. I think they're trying to work on a model that'll actually fit everything that they want. So they're taking notes here, and these people are crazy, man. Why can't they just accept what God made and just live their lives instead of trying to manipulate reality? I don't get it. I really don't. And it seems like they're bound to do this no matter what. And people are just going to let it happen, and they'll believe them, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
If people need to research stuff for themselves, or they're going to lose the world they live in. That's what I look at it.
For Beersheba, and you also have similar things in the United States. This calculation is very sensitive to the rotation of the Earth, so that the small distances between Jerusalem and Yavne can skew it if you're not careful to stick with the calculation and recalibrate it for whatever place you are on the globe. And again, I'd like to reiterate my challenge. How could my ancestors have come up with that kind of a calculation if they thought that the Earth was flat? They would have had to understand the heliocentric model and had a really amazing and profound understanding of our universe around us in order to make that kind of a calculation. And we can.
Oh, we've made this very clear. Everything works off of a cycle. Have you ever heard of the Saurus cycle before, David?
Mm-hmm.
People have observed these things for centuries, and that's how they know what's going to happen. You know, just like you have a birthday the same day the next year. How do you know this? Because it's observed.
Yeah. And the only calculation was them writing down every summer, like when they planted vegetables at different times, which time was the best. And it started there, and then it worked from that point.
Oh, man.
I don't see what it has anything to do with the globe. You can calculate it on a flat Earth correctly. And
well, it was calculated on a flat Earth correctly, and then some bozo came along and said, "You live on a ball."
But he just said you got to really know the ball, and to calculate it like that is what he's saying. Sure.
I'd say show us. Show us.
Yeah.
Remember, he's saying calculating. All I'm doing is looking up at the sky to know what time of year it is, bro. I'm not calculating shit.
That's right. That's right.
I don't calculate, I
Mhm.
don't know how.
Continue to rely on that same calculation to this day. I saved the best for last.
The Zora. Oh,
This is a passage in the Jerusalem Talmud, which was written between 200 and 400 CE.
Again, Talmud.
It is
exactly.
Yeah. Disgusting book.
discussing, it's from
Close.
Avodah
I see
Zarah.
disgusting.
That's the tractate, page 3, side A. And it's talking about idolatry and the risks of idolatry, the risks of somebody having a world leader having so much power that there's a danger of idolatry also for the Jews to slip into idolatry and trying to avoid idolatry. And this incident that it's citing is from the days of Alexander the Great, who visited Jerusalem, had a good relationship with Jews. But let's face it, he was an idolater. And we do have these depictions of Alexander the Great on coins holding a bird in his hand, and other there's apparently other depictions that I'm not aware of.
I'm sorry, but this guy's literally not
Certainly,
presenting
we have other
anything.
depictions of other leaders, and
I think let's get to the
this
conclusion
passage.
because this guy's like literally not really presenting. There we go. Okay.
I have questions.
I think Duffy's getting
What
bored.
he can say
Yeah.
about the becoming so-called Jews when the Russians were pushing Khazarians, which they were in Ukraine, to choose between Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. What about this, my friend?
Yeah.
Settled here in Israel over 3,000 years ago, and we have had an unbroken history as a persecuted indigenous people in every generation. Anti-Semitism comes from ignorance and false allegations about Jewish beliefs, practices, and history. A lot of bloodshed
Because you can just make up your
by
own.
opening dialogue with us Jews about what we believe and practice.
We just saw what you believe in practice.
Oh,
You
now he's a
push-
Jew. Oh, geez.
He pushes Kabbalistic beliefs, which is Satanist. It's a Satanistic belief system.
Yeah, don't they? Don't that Talmud don't always go to the victim? Like, oh, poor us. They're anti-Semitic. But I don't think he knows.
But that's the thing. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. Everybody just gets labeled anti-Semitic because you don't follow what they say. We don't need to follow what they say to be an anti-Semite. You're an anti-Semite just because you say, "Sorry, man, you're not actually a Jew." How the hell is that anti-Semitism?
They are showing you what they believe in. Star of Jacob, which isn't really Star of David. It's exactly Star of Remphan, Molech, Moloch. It's a
Moloch,
object of idolatry worship.
Mhm.
That's what it is. It is showing you, and they're showing you as well pentagram in it.
But he judged Alexander for being an idolater, so that's hypocrisy on another level. So.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they love to sacrifice children, because it's in their roots. They were sacrificing children in the fire
Unfortunately, we can't talk
or by
about
unliving them. So that's in their roots. That's who they are.
Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, we can't talk about that on here.
Nowhere on the 4,000-year Jewish timeline shown over here on the screen.
There is no 4,000-year Jewish timeline.
No, there's not. Listen, if I had 109 women divorce me, I can't say that it was them and not me. Okay? I'm sorry. The biggest cause of anti-Semitism is Jewish behavior. I'm sorry.
Wouldn't it be definition of narcissism?
Never be sorry for words of truth.
Right.
We see a depiction of a flat earth. Such a worldview is foreign to us. I repeat my challenge for anyone to visit the National Library in Jerusalem to try to find a Jewish depiction of a flat Earth in any time in history. Thank you, Will Duffy, for opening a
Can I
dialogue
say
with Jews about what Jews
enough?
think of the flat Earth.
Hi.
Thank you, David. That was amazing. I'm so glad you reached out and just said you wanted to offer help. I don't know
Now Duffy's a
Hebrew.
Jew too.
I love
Wow.
learning.
Well, it's time that Duffy starts learning Hebrew. You guys agree? Since he's a pastor and he claims to know all about the firmament, you would think you at least know some basic Hebrew.
He's as much of a pastor as my dog is.
Well, he has a small building where people meet in, but he doesn't teach them biblical stuff. Obviously, he teaches them the exact opposite. So he needs to learn
about Hebrew,
learn how to read it,
and just about Jewish history. It's some of the most rich history in the world. Israel is just such an incredible place. So thanks again for being here. Why don't you tell people where to find you in case they'd like to contact?
I think that's all we need to hear from him.
We're good. Thanks.
Wow. Yeah. I got nothing.
It was painful to watch, to be honest.
Yeah, but I'm literally got a headache now because every time he opened his mouth, I was saying, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. How everything.
Flat, please try to pick up one thing he was right about. Just one. I challenge
Randy. Hey, sweetheart.
There's a museum.
Can't say anything positive. Don't say anything else.
There's a museum in Israel.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you won.
Perfect.
That
was perfect.
And why do they call it that? It's a word that means burnt offering or sacrifice. We
Yes,
don't
indeed.
call what happened in Cambodia a Holocaust.
No.
They call that a police action, sir, by American standards.
No, in Cambodia, that was straight up murder that was going on there.
Mm-hmm. Genocide.
You ever get a chance, watch a movie called The Killing Fields. It's a true story. Got Sam Waterston.
Yep. Good movie.
Unfortunately, they are in the cult, and they are in the cult of mass genocide sacrifice. That's what they are.
Always obsessed with running and fleeing. You know that? Always obsessed with this running and fleeing and hiding and shit. It's just like
white people bad because they kick us from the country. Oh, they are very bad.
Like collective paranoia.
And they teach the children that everyone who is not one of them is going to unlive them. That's what they teach the children.
Oh, and maybe if they raise their children properly and learn how to get along with other people, they wouldn't have that problem, would they?
Very true. Very true.
Not hard to start.
But they can't raise them different way because they hate you and me and everyone who is not them. Like their own admission, their own words. It's not my words. That's what they say.
That sounds like a them problem to me. Not a me problem.
So, closing statements.
Guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, does he? Absolutely putting all of his agenda into all of that Hebrew. All that Hebrew he had or allegedly translated, because he didn't translate it, because he put his own agenda in his own words. He was eisegeting, not exegeting. Absolutely. And then Duffy actually looked like he was getting bored in the end. But yeah, Duffy's got, like you say, there's a conundrum with Duffy there as well. He can't now agree with this dude and say that the firmament is the crust of the earth. You know, he's backed himself in a corner with that one. But yeah, good stream, man. Good stream.
I think I have a perfect summary, for this. It's John 8:44. You are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and he's the father of it.
Narcissist. Oh,
Yeah.
my turn. I was going to say this is all about psychology. It's all about implanting and infusing things into your mind that
Yeah.
you connect with, like things about your religion that you side with them on, and then they use that as dark psychology to then brainwash you into believing that there's some reason why that could be the same as something else. It's really like, it's interesting that I'm starting to read about this, but it's really obvious that it's just brainwashing.
Big old straw man. Big old straw man. That's like
To school to obtain donations. When there was a new curriculum introduced, there had to be people from the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, because other than that, money wouldn't come. And they were creating curriculum, and everywhere is a freaking globe Earth. Each school, globus, and so on, from the very young age. And each child is being programmed from the very early age.
I got something to say. I don't think you can buy your way into the kingdom of heaven, dude. No matter what you do.
can't do that.
No.
Definitely can't do that.
Not unless you can put a camel through the eye of a needle, then maybe so.
The problem is on the Christian side. Unfortunately, Christian Zionists, I don't call them Christians.
Nope.
Because they
By the
believe
way, that
they
was
are chosen people. Because they have been brainwashed. And they think, instead of thinking about himself, that he believes in Christ and God and the Holy Trinity, he is God's chosen person. He believes in someone who wants to unlive him. That's the way to go.
Yeah, PJ, you got a show coming up?
Yeah, 2 p.m. tomorrow. Same 2 p.m. GMT tomorrow. So like, what's that? 16 hours away or something. Bit more. I don't know. Say part 2 of what we did. The second part of allegedly Dave's debate with that particle physicist. Tony would come give me the video. It's like 6 years old. I'd never seen it before, and it's quite funny. I mean, Dave Murphy is saying all the right things, and the particle physicist just doesn't got a clue. Like, but I found out today that them 2 people in the middle they're not with that dude. They're just moderating. They've got nothing to do with that guy at all. So yeah, Tony told me that. But yeah, part 2 of that anyway tomorrow. I think I'll put in the links.
Can I ask a question right quick? Dave, what do you think about allegedly Dave changing his name like that? What do the Council of Daves have to say about that?
Yeah, it's his business, man. I don't care. I talked to Dave Murphy before. He seemed like an all right guy.
Yeah, he seemed cool.
What do you mean? I always know him as Dave Murphy. I always thought that allegedly Dave was just like a joke for the talk show he was.
Yeah, I thought it was. Well,
yeah.
Hebrew.
You got to share, Roger.
I might do one later, probably around 9-10 o'clock. Are you doing a show, Dave?
No, tonight the next installment of The House of David comes out on Amazon. I'm going to be watching that.
The House of David. But Dave's everywhere, ain't he?
Yeah, man. It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
Dave's not here, man.
Still haven't watched it yet, but it sounds like something that'd be cool to do in one of the nights, movie night type thing.
You know, Mikey's name is Dave, and there's David Banner. It's like, dude, what is up with it?
Were
all your moms in some kind of club or something?
It's one of the coolest names around, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're right.
Did you guys watch the Let's Go by Duffy?
I didn't say it wasn't the best name. I just said it's common.
Mikey was kind of harsh on the little church there, though. When we visited, he put flyers in his door. There's nobody there ever. Every time I go, it's like it's an empty place.
It's the front, man.
Yeah. Anyway, cheers, guys.
Remember, I said that all
evening further. Just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming. You guys rock. You guys on the panel can still talk if you want to. But everybody, thanks for coming. Please hit the likes if you haven't already. Share the show. Appreciate you all, and I'll see you all tomorrow night for another awesome show. Till next time, may the pressure be with you.
Yes.
Sleep is what you're saying. That was bad.
Did you miss?
In God's plan, my path